So in this video we're going to take a look at the random number function that I'm using to generate a random value from my collections. So in the previous video we took a look at the unselected the start quiz button, and in a number of places here I'm using this little routine to generate a random value from a collection. So let's take a look at my round test screen where we can look at this in a bit more detail. So let's set this to 54. Okay, so that basically means 54 available questions, which is where we would be at the start of a quiz. So what we have here then is our random number. We have our available questions, it's 54, and then we times the random number by the available questions and we get this. And then we round down, get rid of any decimals, and then we add on 1. And then this column then is round up as well. Okay, so round up is in here, and I'm not using round up in this routine, but in the routine I am 1 plus round down, and that could just be replaced with a round up. So let's go through this in a bit more detail. So first of all, I want to multiply my rows by my random value, and that's what that is. So that's what that function is. I then round down to 0 decimal places, which is what our round down column is, and then I add 1. And that's what this is. Okay, and then with this value I am then getting the first, in this case 13 rows from available questions, and I'm then taking the last row from those 13. In other words, I'll get the 13th. In this case I would get the 53rd, in this case I would get the 2nd, etc. And that way I'm hopefully getting a random question or a random answer each time I run that routine. So let's test this out with 54. Okay, so 54 available questions would be the start of the quiz. So if this is working, I shouldn't have any values that are less than 1, and I shouldn't have any values that are greater than 54 if this little routine is working correctly. So let's click the refresh rand button, and we should generate 10 possible answers at a time. So this would simulate, every time I click this button, this would simulate generating essentially the first question 10 times. But I'm going to run this. Let's run this 1,000 times. See how we get on. And you can see if you look along the bottom, you'll see the numbers ticking along for the number of times a particular value has been generated. There we go. Okay, so 1,000. So we've ran that 1,000 times, and there we go. That looks pretty good. So we don't have any values that are less than 1, which would be correct. That's what we want. And we don't have any values that are greater than 54, and again, that's what we want. All the values are between 1 and 54, which, if you have 54 available questions, is what you're looking for. And you should see a reasonably even distribution here along the 54. But of course, because it's random, you have values here as low as 9 going up to values as high as 29 there. But I would say that looks pretty good. I think that's working pretty well. So a pretty random selection of values between 1 and 54. So let's clear that. But let's say we're 34 questions into a 54 question quiz, and our available questions are down to 20. So let's run this again. We'll run it 500 times this time, but this time again we shouldn't have anything less than 1, but we shouldn't have anything greater than 20. So all our values that we generate here should be between 1 and 20. So let's run this a few times. Let's run it 500 times. There we go. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. So everything is between 1 and 20, and again, it's reasonably even distribution. So this little routine works nicely. And again, if you wanted to, instead of the 1 plus round down, you could just use the round up function instead, and it would give you exactly the same outcomes. Okay, so that was a little diversion into the rand test screen, but in the next video we'll get back on track and we'll take a look at the question screen.